Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are now on episode 8, the review of A Teacher. So, I wasn't expecting the ending. I'm not really trying to spoil it from ending to beginning, but I was not expecting that to happen. But this episode is dedicated solely to Claire getting out of county jail, county prison. I'm not really sure exactly what facility she went to, but that is literally what it's focused on. And I guess like her being reacquainted with going out of prison and everything like that. We see her being picked up by her brother and another male. The male's obviously a lot older than the brother, so you're kind of already like, is it her dad? And lo and behold, it is. I don't know if we ever thought we were going to see her dad. I know she kept talking about him and how that really shaped how she is now, her childhood, just her as an adult, and then we saw him. Not what I was expecting, but I also didn't have any, again, expectations of what her dad was going to look like because it just didn't seem like he was ever going to make an appearance. And I was like, oh, all right, he's here, and he's here in her time of need. This is her leaving prison and again trying to just be reacquainted, and he's there to pick her up and I guess show that he cares and he's there for her. But it was very like wincy, very serious, and we're like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen after this? This is like the first couple of minutes, because you know this series likes to get right to the point per usual. They're really straight, succinct, things like that. And when they get to the house, I think it's Nate's house because she's staying with Nate after everything, the dad's like, hey, I know you're in a rough spot, but just know that like it's gonna get better. I've gone through hard things. And that kind of just made me like think like I've never really thought like what's the aftermath, what's the outcome for the teacher in the situation, like are they able to get jobs, like what happens to them? I don't know if like how hard it is to find a job, because no one really thinks about that, because again they're the predator, they are the bad person, if you would say, in the situation, so no one really thinks about that. But I was just like, how hard is it to get a job? Because this is on their background check, I'm assuming forever. They're kind of probably registered as a sexual offender, and that kind of just makes things really hard. And again, I'm not saying you need to feel bad for them, but I just was always curious, at least now I am. But then when she went to the house, you could see that she was really like cringe and like uncomfortable about even seeing him or just having the situation, and kind of she gets mad at Nate and it's like, why didn't you let me know that dad was going to be here? Like that was very caught off guard. I wasn't ready for that, because again obviously it's been a really long time since she's seen her dad. Again, every scene that she talked about her dad, it was never really anything good. It was kind of like distaste, because again he ruined her childhood, hence the alcoholism, things like that. And he's like, well, he wanted to see you, so like what do you want me to say? As they're there, Nate's like, hey, you can stay here as long as you want, but Lisa, I think this is my first time knowing what his wife's name was at all, because again he didn't really have much of a storyline. He is like, Lisa said you need to get a job, and yeah, like besides you staying here, you can start working. And Claire is like, yeah, like I'll work on it. I mean, I just got out, but again, I guess it's kind of something you need to say, because sometimes when people are too comfortable, they're too comfortable and they get kind of they get stagnant and don't really have the motivation to do things. And it's like, she probably can't teach again, let alone anytime soon. He also mentioned that her former husband Matt dropped off her things, and she kind of like asked about him, and if it wasn't then, it was later when he's like, yeah, he's not doing well, but yeah, he dropped it off, like that's all that matters. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm sure he's happy the marriage is being finalized, and I'm glad that I guess he got to his senses and agreed to getting divorced, or maybe initiated the divorce, because I know when Claire notified him of the affair, he tried to reason with her and tried to like to save the marriage, because again I feel like people are more willing to try and save a marriage or just a relationship that's lasted a really long time versus trying to just end it, because like so much time has happened, so like why throw it away? But obviously I guess they just eventually decided to end it when he realized all the baggage that probably comes with her case and her background, you know. So then I guess like the scene kind of switches over. I'm not sure if it was that evening or the evening after. Lisa, the wife, comes in and Claire is drinking wine. It could look bad, but she's a grown woman. She's in her 30s and had a really hard time. Not defending her, I'm just saying like that's just what people do. They drink when they're stressed and just for comfort. And she's like, wow, you're starting this early. And it was like a snide comment, but also I didn't know if it was supposed to be like humorous. And Claire's like, you know, it's been a hard time. It's just like, kind of, sorry, do you want a drink? Sorry, I should have asked. And then she's like, you look surprisingly good. And I'm like, okay, she just doesn't like her. Again, makes sense. It's really awkward, but like they're living together. So I'm kind of just almost surprised with this, like, she's that bold, or she's willing to say that. I don't know, I feel really cringe just trying to like just get my feelings out in general, so saying that to someone I don't like to their faces while I'm living with them just doesn't seem like that. It just couldn't be me. So then the next scene, Claire is running like in the park, or she's like running outside just getting exercise, and eventually she gets like a coffee stand, like a coffee truck kind of thing. And she's like, oh, can I order like a latte or like a scone? And like, oh, it's 7 something. You see her kind of like rummaging through her like pockets or her like her wallet, and she only has like a $5 bill. She has less. than what was asked of her. And it kind of like puts emphasis on the fact like, oh, she doesn't have money right now, or oh, she doesn't have enough to cover it. And she's like, oh, can I actually get less than that? And then the coffee bartender kind of girl is like, oh, it's on the house, don't worry. And it's like, again, like, are we supposed to feel bad because she doesn't really have money right now? Or is it just kind of like, again, showing you that like, when you come out of prison with this kind of situation, it's not easy and you probably don't have the funds to like get a simple coffee or things like that. So it's like, are we supposed to feel bad? But we're just also kind of knowing like, this is what happened after all this, like immediately after, especially because she doesn't have a job yet. The next scene, it cuts to her being at a retail store and she's like being really talkative. I don't know if that was intentional based on how the scene ended. So she's in the store and she's like kind of convincing the lady on the other side, like, hey, yeah, leggings. Oh my God, they're so nice. Just talking about clothing on a very like animated conversation. I'm a very shy person, so I would never just talk to someone I don't know, like, oh my God, yeah, you should get that. Oh, that's so nice. It's supposed to be like posed as like a setup, like, hey, I should work here because I'm really good and I'm like encouraging this person to buy something. Or she was just talking because also she probably really hasn't had this kind of interaction or animated conversation when she was locked away. So I don't know if it was kind of a mixture of both. And then the manager kind of comes over like, oh my God, that was so good. We need to get you hired again. I don't know if like, hey, do this and we'll hire you. I don't think that's how the test goes, especially because she didn't have an application yet or applied yet. So it was kind of interesting to see that. And I was like, okay, that would never happen, or at least I would never do that. And it's like, yeah, come over here. Let's write things down. We're going to have like your background check and things like that. And it kind of puts emphasis on like, oh shoot, Claire just got out of jail. So she has, you know what, on her background checks, like, will that come up? Will that prohibit her? Will that prevent her from getting a job, let alone a retail job? We don't know. And that's when you see this blonde woman come into the scene. I think it's Devin's mom. I don't remember his name. The 30-year-old that I thought was 30 comes in like, oh my God, you're out. Oh my God, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get a job here. You can't get a job here. You're disgusting. Okay, I don't know if she says disgusting, but in my head, it's like she says disgusting. Like she's a sexual predator. And now she's like screaming all these like rude terms. Claire goes running out of the store. She goes to the car. She kind of like breaks down because again, like imagine being embarrassed like that in public. Again, she was trying to get a job. Again, I'm not defending her. I'm just stating this is what the situation was. And she's crying. She's really upset, like distraught about the situation because obviously it's not capable. She's not capable of escaping this. It's obviously, like I said, maybe my first few reviews of the show, it gives a very small town feel. You feel like you're going to run into people here, obviously. So yeah, it was kind of bound to happen for her to run into someone, but obviously someone that doesn't like her and is not rooting for her. She has to go back to the jail. I have a question mark. I don't know if it's like the jail or is it this like a background check. I'm not really sure how this works, but she has to go somewhere and she's kind of like in a room with a lot of people. It's really crowded and she has to give a urine sample and just like kind of show her back. I don't know what that means, but it was just maybe like a checkup. I'm assuming she has to do this often or something just to like check that she's on good behavior. She's not doing drugs. I'm not really sure exactly this part, but it showed that. So it's kind of something that might have to be her routine, or I'm not again sure how often that would happen, but it kind of shows that that also comes along with it. Just because she's out of jail doesn't mean like she's in the clear forever. Like there's still things that come along with it. And at dinner, Nate tried to ask Claire, like, so how are you? How are you adjusting? Are you getting a job? Like probably leading to that. And she's like, yeah, I tried to get a job, but then I was ambushed at the store by this lady who was calling me a sexual predator. And here comes Lisa, Nate's wife, like, are you surprised? Like, did you not expect anyone to do that? Like, that's basically what you are, kind of verbatim almost. And then, like, are you surprised she feels that way? And Claire kind of told her off and she walked off pissed because, again, imagine she doesn't want her to be there. She's telling her off in front of her husband and she doesn't want her to be there. Her husband comes to her defense and is like, why are you doing this? Why are you making her feel that way? And she's like, she doesn't like me. She doesn't want me here. And I guess that was when Claire just feels very broken down, distraught. It's like, let me try to defend myself. And like, this is what I wrote down. If the roles were reversed, if the roles were reversed, you'd be high-fiving me, meaning like if she was a male teacher coming on to her female student, then he would have felt differently. He pursued me. He kissed me. And like, again, putting this on him, taking the blame off her, just not taking any ownership. I feel like her and Eric are not taking ownership of the whole situation. And maybe Eric almost makes it seem like it was a mutual thing and she's the one who's making it seem like it was from him. But she also said it was consensual. So don't say it's consensual. Don't say it's consensual and then say he pursued you, he kissed you, he was a minor. But then you're also saying it was equal. Like, which one is it? Obviously, the situation's done. She's the one who got charged with the situation because she was the authority in the situation. But like the stories are not matching up. You're very confused about it, obviously. And then she also kind of goes on saying like, I wanted to feel free. I wanted to do what I wanted for the first time ever, considering like my childhood. And Nate's like, stop blaming our dad, stop blaming our childhood. Like, you shouldn't have done this and that. Although Nate was not there for her childhood, as she emphasized when they were at the cabin for Eric's birthday. She was saying how he was in the military and not present. So it was just her and her dad. So she feels kind of like not understood, and like, you weren't there when things were going down with my dad, or just how I had to like deal with that. So like, you don't understand at all. And it's kind of interesting because her brother Nate is coming full circle on like his thoughts about the situation, obviously because time has elapsed. But from my memory, I remember when he was talking to her husband at the time saying like, maybe they won't press charges. Maybe it was consensual. Like, he was defending her then, but now after everything's happening, it makes sense because she's gone to jail, and now it's kind of like tarnished their name and stuff together because everyone's going to associate him as her brother like at work and stuff. So again, before he was defending her, now he's almost not really on her side. It's just really awkward despite her staying there. And she also goes into the fact that she had to spend a total of 6 months in jail, and now she's on probation for 5 years. And like, that's a really long time. And that's just her consequences. Again, I'm not really sure what probation relates to, like job eligibility and like what jobs would actually take her, and if she should even stay in town, because town is very small and everyone's going to talk. And I don't know. But yeah, he just overall has no sympathy for the situation anymore. The next morning, Claire wakes up to a message, and from the trailer, everyone's like, we know it's Eric. Who else is texting her? Her husband's over her. She ain't friends with Catherine anymore. Who would she like roll over in bed and like get sit up straight for a text message? It's from Eric. And Eric says he needs to see her, and where was she? And I'm like, this is gonna turn left, but these episodes are so short. There's only so much time for anything to happen. Not that there needs to be, but we're like, because a lot of people in my comments are like, oh my God, I wonder if they're gonna see each other again. Oh my God, I wonder if that was their final goodbye at the hotel. Obviously not, because Claire goes in the bathroom, puts her makeup on, she's putting eyeshadow, she's doing her hair. I'm like, I don't think they're probably supposed to see each other. What is happening? Abort, 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 get out of this situation. And Eric's at the door. He looks older than he did when he was in high school in his first year. Even though it's like been like a week or two, I'm assuming, since the last episode, because his mom said it was like she was gonna be just getting out. So I don't think that much time has changed, but he looks older already for some reason. And he's there, and I'm like, oh, look at little Eric. But why is he at her brother's place? Why did she let him? Like, I'm pretty sure it's against the rules, the law. She's not supposed to see him. And he apologized to her and was like, I'm so sorry you got in this situation. It was a together thing. And I'm like, are you here? Why are you here? Where's her brother? This is not okay. Where are the cops? Where's her? Like, it's just, I was freaking out. And he got super close. I thought they were gonna kiss, and I was like, oh my God, this is not okay. Why is this happening? And then he goes into like, being with you was everything. I can't sleep anymore. I can't eat. I can't function. I can't go to class. I'm like, I need you. And Claire at first was trying to say like, yeah, at first she was on board saying like, what we had was real. I think she said kind of like, what we had was real, and like, you were in love, right? Like, we were, this was like a together thing. Like, it was a equal consensual stuff. And he's like, yeah. And then I don't know what switch went off in her head, because she was like, what we had was an escape. It wasn't love. You need to leave, get out. Like, this is against my probation. Finally, a light bulb went up in her head. I was like, you need to get out. You shouldn't be here. And she's like, you're a kid, go live your life, go. And he's obviously very broken. And he like, it was just very, very, but the feelings were it was all over the place. He shouldn't have came. She shouldn't have let him come in the first place. She should have deleted the messages like she used to and let it drop, because she knows that she doesn't really have anything going due to the situation. So why allow that to happen and open those doors again and open the wounds? And eventually Claire packed up her stuff. You see her folding up the bed, and we're like, where is she going? Because again, husband's out of the picture. She's living with her brother. Where else could she go? And she's driving off. I'm like, okay, after her kind of mentioning her dad multiple times and things like that, maybe she's going to her dad, because that's just what she needs to do. I'm not sure where her dad lives. And again, I don't know if she ever mentioned like the city or how far he does, or if they mentioned how far he lives from her brother or whatever. Never really mentioned that too much. But lo and behold, she gets to her dad's house, knocks on the door, and he opens the door with like, how would I say this? He opens the door with like welcoming arms, like, come in here and stuff. So she's escaped to her father's house, from my understanding, just from the visual. Obviously, he lives maybe far away, or just she just knows that her brother's place is not where she needs to be, and her dad is maybe more accepting of the situation because he's like, I want to try and rebuild everything that we had. So yeah, she saw Eric, she's out, and she doesn't have a job still, but she is out. And it was only 6 months. Again, I don't know what a normal sentence that people will get in this kind of situation. I don't know if it's years, I don't know, but, and she said it was a misdemeanor. I don't know if I would have thought it was a felony, maybe in certain states, but she said it was a misdemeanor. Maybe she was lying, but whew, that was a mouthful. We are winding down. We have 2 more episodes until the season or mini season finale. I know that some people might not think this is as interesting as the first episodes. The first episodes were obviously the big build up for the finale. Can't wait to see what that's going to be. But wow, I didn't think we were going to see Eric. I don't know what y'all thought, but I thought he was going to be there. I thought last episode was Eric's. This was hers. And then maybe next episode. So I was not expecting to see him at all. The episode was also very short. It was 21 minutes I saw on Hulu. And I was like, yeah, y'all just really wanted to speed through this. But yeah, that's the whole review. Let me know what y'all think in the comments per usual. And I will love to go and comment down with y'all, and see y'all next time. Bye.